Hi, this new video is about making yourself more productive by using a project template to create new project instead of creating new projects from scratch through the OmegaT menu. Actually, there are a few advantages to using a project template instead of creating projects from scratch, and each of these advantages by itself is not too big, but combined they make a lot of sense. To start with the project template, I need to create a new project from scratch. Okay, and I'm going to call it project template. Okay, save, and I create it. Okay. So now I have a project template project with the standard default OmegaT folder structure, and I will now copy my additional files into this template. Alright, I copied my files, and the next time I need to create a project, what I do is I make a copy of this project template. This is why it's called a template, and then I rename it to whatever my project name should be, and I will then open this project in OmegaT. Okay, so this was how you do it, and now let's see why you want to do it. The first reason is using project-specific settings each time, and mainly these are filters and segmentation rules. If you use the project template to create each new project, OmegaT will use these two project-specific settings files instead of the default settings files stored on the computer that you create the new project on. So, if you use OmegaT across several computers, using a project template to unify the project's settings, filters, and segmentation is absolutely critical. Well, maybe not critical, but pretty useful anyway, because you might notice that when you open the same project from different computers and you don't have project-specific settings, it will open differently. For example, on one computer you will be using one filter, and on another computer you'll be using another filter, and OmegaT will present the translation units in a different way in this case. And the best thing about this project-specific settings in the project template is that you can, so to speak, optimize them. For example, I will now open this project template. Okay, I will access the settings, of course the project-specific settings, segmentation, for example, and here I can set whatever segmentation rules I want, and these segmentation rules will be saved to the project-specific settings, and every time within this project template, and every time I use that project template to create a new project, these settings will be reused. So I will use this project template as a storage for my settings that I want to use in each and every new project, and the same goes for the file filters, of course. Here, for example, if I want to use the xlib filter, the native one, instead of the copy one, here I have the setting, and it will be used in all my future projects. Another advantage closely associated with the project-specific settings is the ability to use the learned words txt file in each project. In this file I accumulate the words that I added to custom dictionary, and by adding these words to this file and reusing it across projects and accumulating it over time, I avoid adding the same custom words to the custom dictionary again and again. So I actually save a lot of time by accumulating this file and reusing it through the project template. Compare this to a project that I created from scratch. Here the OmegaT folder is simply empty. There is no learned words txt, which means that when you will check the spelling for this project, you will start from scratch, and you're going to add the same words to the custom dictionary again and again. The second advantage is the ability to add files and folders to each new project that you need, but that OmegaT does not create by default. And in my case, I have a lot of those. Starting with this ini folder, where I kept the ini files used by scripts written by Kosovansov. For example, most importantly, the search and replace file with the standard replacements that I make in each project. When I use a project template to create a new project, this file is in the new project by default, and I don't need to do any manual copy and paste to add it to this folder. So I simply run the script and it finds the file that it needs all the time. So it's automatic. Finally, I have a query template, a file that I can use to communicate questions to a client. But remember that it's not that important now that we have a script written by Kosovansov to generate a file with queries, which is much more convenient to use. But anyway, my point is that it's very easy to add files and folders to your project template so that you do not have to copy them manually into each new project created from scratch. And the final reason to use a project template for me is the ability to set certain settings in the file OmegaT project for each new project. So here, for example, I already set my source language and target language, and this spares me configuring them manually in each new project. And I can also, of course, configure things like segmentation by sentence or by paragraph and removing text and so on. By using a project template, I have this configuration in each new project automatically, which is very convenient in my opinion. So I strongly encourage you to at least try using this project template idea to create new projects. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching, and if this video helped you, please help it in return by sharing the link to the blog post it is attached to. This blog post is mentioned in the comments.